Hello. I wanted to make sure I was on. Hello,
Ah,
everyone. Welcome to the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live here on Facebook, YouTube, and X. I'm Sam Springer, as always, joined by JW Shannon. JW, how are we,
yeah.
my friend?
We're just wonderful.
Yeah, we were just chatting about it being a little chillier earlier. That we were
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're gonna have to do this inside. Plus, it's gonna get dark. I'm looking, and it's already dark outside.
Right.
So
Yeah. I couldn't do it on my patio unless I had a flashlight in my face.
that's right. And goodness, we wouldn't want
That
you to
wouldn't
get
be
that.
that wouldn't be a good thing to see.
Well, let's dive into it there, JW. Last week, the Bluffton Pirates improved to 7-1 with a
Right.
42-9 victory over the Fort Loramie Redskins. JW, your thoughts?
Overall, it was pretty dominating on both sides of the ball. They went down and scored a last touchdown, which was in my mind kind of unnecessary. With their varsity, but yeah, I thought Bluffton looked good on both sides of the ball. There been some mental lapses. We played a pretty complete game.
Yeah, that we are looking at the stats. 400 total yards for the Pirates, 172 for the Redskins. Not
Right.
not really something that you want to brag about when it comes to your overall totals there. You're under
Yeah.
200 yards, so it made it kind of difficult for them to be successful, I guess is the
Yeah,
best way
and
to
and
put it.
and the crazy thing is they ran 7 more plays than we did in the game, and we still beat them by that much.
Yep. Yeah, well, that when we were talking and we did talk about it often, or we've talked about it often, but then we talked about it as well on Friday, was even the long drives, they don't take a ton of time off. Now they're long for our
Right.
offense.
Yeah, for us, if we get a 4-minute run, that's a long time.
Right. And we had about a 5 minute, little over 5 minutes, I think, to
Yeah,
open.
yeah, we had a pretty impressive, lengthy drive.
Yeah. And we did that a couple times, but still, I mean, those were only 6, 7 plays. They weren't
Yeah,
like 15
yeah,
or 18 play long drives. So while we were consuming time, we were being pretty. We were consuming time in our minds or in our book, but in all, it was a relatively. It was a longer drive, but it wasn't
sure.
as many plays. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, well,
we were being
yeah.
efficient, I guess, as we were more efficient.
Yeah, and with the Bluffton offense, the chance of breaking a big play every drive is so big. But yeah, we had several nice where we're knocking off 7 to 8 yards of play and marched it right down. It didn't take long, but yeah, what a nice couple drives we had there.
Yeah, and like we started it off, we scored twice in the first quarter. We had, and one was a 96-yard pass from Tate Gieske to Leighton
Yeah,
Miller. Uh, the problem that I'm sure Coach Richards addressed, and we will talk to him about, is 10-4. The penalties. We
yes,
had 10 penalties for 57 yards. Not, I mean, way
yeah,
more than you want, but the 10 is the issue because
yeah.
uh,
It's not
we
the
had
yardage.
we had 2 touchdowns pulled back.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
They
because
got their
we're
2 points because we committed a
yeah,
penalty while
yeah.
we were in the end zone on a touchdown run.
Right. And it was funny because we just talked about it. We got a 97-yard touchdown, and then we had some more issues, and we're like, okay, might as well take it inside the 1.5 this time.
Right.
Well, they did, and sure enough, we put
Tore it
another one in
off.
the score. But yeah, unfortunately, there was a holding in the end zone. So
Yeah, and we'll definitely talk to Coach about the penalties a little bit on that one. So I can see him shaking his head in the waiting room right now.
yeah, those are the
uh,
kind of drive you nuts as a coach.
oh yeah, passing wise, we didn't need to, So
Right.
96 yards came on one completion for Tate Gieske,
Right.
and he had 169 overall. So I
Yeah.
mean that was definitely we didn't need it. So him being 7 of 11, very good on completion rates. Just didn't need that. We had the running game going.
Yeah, and once again, Tate was very smart with the ball. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he very seldom makes a mistake to where he's going to turn that ball over. So kudos to him for that. I mean, he's been so good at that this year.
Yeah, and then you mentioned the rushing totals, but we had Parker Level with 140, 3 touchdowns, 45
Yeah,
yard long run. Tate had 49 yards on 7 attempts. Should have been 130 some,
yeah,
almost
yeah,
150 on 8.
yeah.
But we digress. We'll let that one go finally. And so we ran for 200 yards. We did
Yeah, yeah,
not run for 200. We ran for close to 200 yards. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we had a good rushing night. I just thought it was a well balanced attack. I mean,
Yeah.
we mixed it up pretty nicely.
Well, and then on the defensive side, two big turnovers forced there. One being a pick six by Javen Crawfus. Had a second one. I guess I didn't realize that basically a forward pass beyond the line of scrimmage negated everything. I didn't realize that part. But Crawfus had an interception on that play as well.
And if I'm understanding it right, the call on the field, the ref called the interception out of bounds, even though Javen swears he wasn't out of bounds, but that was a call on the field, and that's why they were unable to.
So that's what it had nothing to do with the penalty itself. It had to do with the fact that they ruled it incomplete.
Yeah, and I don't know what the exact rule on that is, but he said that the referee on the field ruled it out of bounds.
And one thing that we didn't really, was it against Crestview that we had that weird second and goal from the 4?
Yeah,
we got the first down.
Then broke the plane.
Yeah, and so I did not ask Coach about that during X's and O's last week. We're going to talk to him about that because I'm sure he got an explanation. Whether he liked it or not, he got an explanation.
Yeah, at least he knew why they called it.
Yeah, I want to say my sister-in-law was listening to our broadcast and said, I tuned in just in time for you guys to be really confused for 45 seconds about a play. That never happened. And I said, I'm still confused as to how that
I am
happened.
too. Yeah, I don't know.
But going back to the game against Fort Loramie, this was a like you said, we dominated on both sides of the ball. There were a lot of things that we needed to do better, but all in all, it was a very, very wide open. I'm looking at a huge list of Pirates that were in on tackles. Got tackles for loss. Got a couple of sacks in there. Like we played a pretty strong and dominant game in many facets. I won't say every, but many facets.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you look at that the defensive stats. Mason Shank had a huge night at the game. But he was very dominant on the offensive side as well. So he had a great game on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, there were multiple times that we saw Mason pushing his guy that he was blocking about 14 yards downfield.
Yeah.
Which was fantastic.
The best one I saw all night was when he had driven his guy 15 yards into the backfield, buried him, and then was just kind of leaning on the guy watching our running back go into the end zone.
Oh, you gotta love it. You got to love it. So
he's a bruiser.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to step away, take a quick break. After the break, we will have Coach Jeff Richards in to talk about the game against Fort Loramie and also to fill us in on what that Crestview play was. I don't know what that one was. Yeah, it's such a crazy play. I'm sure he remembers something about it.
Absolutely.
But we'll be right back. You are watching the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
Forget about those boring workouts. Jazzercise Bluffton brings the fire. Loud music, big moves, zero apologies. This is more than fitness. It's strength, mental and physical. We offer 10 classes a week. High energy, full power. Call 419-722-4427 for more information. Jazzercise Bluffton. Train strong, live stronger.
Bluffton Auto Repair Center provides friendly, reliable service for all your hometown car needs. Call 419-358-1900. Bluffton Auto Repair Center, across the street from Stratton Auto Group on Main and Jefferson in Bluffton.
Blanchard Valley Health System isn't just a hospital. We are an integrated health system providing comprehensive care in Northwest Ohio. For more information, please visit bvhealthsystem.org. Blanchard Valley Health System. We're here for you.
Fat Jack's Pizza in Lime, Ohio has 3 locations on West Street, Finley Road, and Spencerville Road to serve you. Family owned and operated, Fat Jack's offers great food options. Go to fatjackspizza.com for menus and more information.
Kira's Flipside Grill on Main Street in Bluffton offers a made-in menu, live weekly music, craft beer and cocktails, plus kids' meals too. Kira's Flipside Grill. Exceptional food, hip atmosphere, unique dining experience.
All right, welcome back to the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live here on Facebook, YouTube, and X. We are joined by Coach Jeff Richards. Coach, thanks so much for giving us more of your Wednesday.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Okay, so first and foremost, what was this play against Crestview? We had a second and what? Second and 3 from the 4. We could get a first down. We ran the ball, got almost into the end zone. We called it a first down. Turns out they move it back to the 4, and it's still second down. What happened?
So what I was told was allegedly they called a timeout right before we snapped the ball. And that happened, and then they didn't know what down it was anymore or anything with that. And then a little bit later, when they had the ball, they kind of botched that whole ending on their end too, to the point where 2 days later, Crestview's coach texted me saying, did any of us ever figure out what was going on in the fourth quarter? Because it was and it was a great conversation, because it was like it didn't really change how the game was going to end, whether win or lose. It was just a really confusing series of events with it. So yeah, I really don't know what exactly went on with it. I heard a timeout was called, but then
the hands over the head by the referee is a big tell that there's a break in time. Like I saw no referees running down the line, waving their hands.
Yeah, we
ran
didn't see
play.
Anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing from the
I was flummoxed. I will say it was that isn't a real feeling that I felt, because I was like, we're replaying this down. I mean, like we did,
and we still don't know.
Well, it turned out okay. We ended up scoring a couple plays later, but still, I mean, shoot, they tried to make it third. And you know what? I learned by running chain gang for one scrimmage 2 or 3 years ago. Those referees wear a band on their hand. Mm-hmm. First down on the pointer, second on the middle, third on the ring. If they didn't move it, they should know what down it is.
Yep.
Obviously, there might not have been a timeout called, because I'm guessing they moved it back to first.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it seemed like a lot of confusion in that end of that game for sure.
Yeah. Well, it was not needed. All right, let's jump to Friday. Fort Loramie, 42-9. Not even really that close. I mean, it's odd to say 42-9 is wasn't even that close. What'd you talk to your kids about penalties wise?
Well, I mean, in reality, we scored 44 points.
Right.
But
yeah.
It's every game is a little different. You're not always sure what you're going to get in regards to calls. We always tell the kids, every game really has a different set of rules based on what's being called.
Right.
I think officials have a really tough job. They're trying to watch 22 people on the field at the same time and also keep track of what's going on. Every game, there's going to be calls I agree with and disagree with wholeheartedly. So I can't go too far into that, but we told the guys, we said, guys, we probably had over 600 yards of offense. However, we lost 200 because Tate had 2 very long runs called back for touchdowns. And we had a number of plays that, on the stat sheet, it only showed, a loss of 5 to 10 yards, but it cost us a significant amount of what we had gained. So it's frustrating when you have a lot of penalties, especially when it's a game you dominated and you still had a lot of penalties. It's just kind of it leaves a bad taste in your mouth with it. But the thing I was most proud about with our guys was they're getting penalties and they didn't lose their composure. We always tell them, let us be the ones yelling at their officials about something if we disagree. I have no problem looking like the jerk. I don't want them to get that way. So they did a great job. Tate runs 99 yards for a touchdown, and it gets negated and turns out being a safety because there was holding in the end zone.
That was crazy.
Some kids would lose their minds over something like that. And instead, we come out and play defense, get the ball back, and go down and score again. So, I was proud of them in that regard, that they didn't let something like that rattle them. It's something I was proud of.
Yeah.
Well,
and that was very diplomatic, by the way.
going down to score after the safety is a little bit of an understatement, because that was the double reverse pass from Leighton Miller to Tate. Kind of walk us through that one. Is that a Coach Jones special?
Well, so as I've said in the past, there may or may not be plays we've ran on JV games for years, and sometimes they make an appearance. That's what my staff does an amazing job. So we game plan, but we've got plays that we don't view trick plays as something you pull out in desperation. We view it as, if it's there, we're going to use it. Tyson Goings is my offensive coordinator, does a great job of, we rep through stuff daily with that we have on the call sheet. I mean, and it makes me laugh because we have these plays that on other teams and stuff, that's a big deal that they ran, that play.
Right.
For us, it's just, it's another Tuesday. We just kind of, that's what we did. So, we laughed because we've repped that in practice a number of times, and we say our scout team's harder to run trick plays on than varsity teams a lot of the time because, one, they know the plays.
Right.
And two, they don't always react the way an opposing team's going to react. So, those plays, they worked in practice last week, but it worked a lot better on Friday when we ran it, just because they weren't expecting it is the biggest part. We've got, not to say that my scout players would cheat and know what the play is going to be, but they full on cheat in practice to try to get themselves an edge. But it's, Tate had, I guess you could call it almost a triple crown. He had a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown, which was nice. And Leighton has a perfect QB rating right now. So
there you go. Great. Yeah. It was great because we could hear the coaches just going nuts on that play. Yeah. You could really hear Jonesy going after it. I thought that was special.
And technically, Coach, he almost got it because both of his rushing touchdowns were called back on penalties.
Yeah.
No, he had another one too, though.
I'm not seeing it. Hearing Parker.
Oh, he did have one called back. Well, then no, he didn't.
Yeah.
He almost, because he did
score two points on that play.
There was I think the one he got called back on a long run. He didn't score on, but then he scored on the 99-yard run and got that called back. So he lost out on like 140 yards worth of rushing on 2 plays.
Absolutely.
How good is it to have somebody like Mason Shank? He's on your side.
The best thing you can say with Mason is he's the definition of a blue collar, hard nosed. He's going to give you everything he has. He's not a rah-rah guy. You're not going to see him give some massive speech or something, but everybody on the field knows what they're going to get with him. And, that mentality serves him well because he's very hardworking. He's very humble. And it's, me being the wrestling coach as well, it's fun because that's his style when he wrestles too. He's very hard nosed. He's, so it's fun, especially when we get games where they've got a guy that's kind of that same mentality because he gets to have a good fight every single snap, and he looks forward to those opportunities. But yeah, no, it's one in practice. I talked about the scout team cheating to give themselves edges. The scout team conveniently finds ways to, flop sides so they're not always with him in practice. But, he's a great leader with the guys too. He's one that, everybody looks to as kind of that guy. They know what they're going to get. It doesn't matter what situation we're in. He's going to give everything he's got with it for sure.
Yeah. He had a great game on both sides of the ball. Yeah. I mean,
he was very present. He was very present throughout that whole game. JW and I talked about, kind of laughing to see him drive back, a guy 20 yards off the play. But that's one way to guarantee he isn't going to make the play too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, we're going to go ahead, step away, take a quick break. Then when we come back, we will talk about this week's trip to Harrod to take on the Allen East Mustangs. I'm correct this time, JW. We're playing Allen East this week.
We are this week, yes.
Yes, this week we are. But
good job.
We'll be right back and talk to Coach. You are watching the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
With 27 years of experience and attention to detail, Angels Flooring provides many flooring services. Call 419-302-7151 for more information. Angels Flooring, serving Bluffton and surrounding areas since 2009.
Grove Systems in Bluffton is hiring for its 2026 apprenticeship class, where you attend road states for 2 days and train at Grove for 3 days during the week. Program covers tuition and pays you for 40 hours. Go to joingrove.com/apprentice for more information.
This Time Out is sponsored by Sumi Rico, Ohio.
At SRK, we believe in teamwork, growth, and community pride. We're hiring for multiple positions, and now's your chance to be a part of a winning team. We're proud to call Bluffton home and honored to create opportunities for the people who make this community strong. Go Pirates!
Kira's Flipside Grill on Main Street in Bluffton offers a made-in menu, live weekly music, craft beer and cocktails, plus kids' meals too. Kira's Flipside Grill. Exceptional food, hip atmosphere, unique dining experience.
All right, welcome back to the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live here on Facebook, YouTube, and X. All right, week 9. Week 9, Coach, we go to Allen East. Tell us about the Mustangs.
Young team, really young. I think they only have 4 seniors on their roster,
wow.
So they're a very young team. Talented team, though. I mean, their sophomore class has kind of had a reputation of being very, very talented for a few years, watching them come up. They're kind of hitting a stride here. They've won their last 2 games convincingly. They gave Crestview everything they could handle. In reality, they had a 2-point conversion that they didn't get, which cost them the game against Crestview. They lost by 1. Just about every team they've played, they've fought well with them. They've got their quarterback is very trusting of his receivers, so he has no problem kind of sitting in the pocket and taking contact while throwing it. They've had the ability to run the ball, and then defensively, they've been able to cause some problems. So I think it's a good matchup. I think they're kind of one of those teams that lost in a handful of games early on in the season and have had to kind of struggle through, some of the tougher games. And now they're kind of hitting the spot where I think they're playing some of their best football for sure.
Poise is hard to teach too. So if you've got a quarterback that can stay in the pocket, willing to take some contact, that disrupts the defense too, because sometimes pressure is one of the key things that you try to put onto a quarterback. If that doesn't work, you've got to make sure you're taking him down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, we've got a couple guys on the defensive line that won't mind putting a little extra pressure on him.
A little extra.
Sure.
Fine.
Yeah, a little.
We won't complain, right? Defensively, we've gotten some players back from injuries. Wasn't sure how long people would be out and things like that. So when they're showing back up in the lineup, when you get that, okay, he's going, does that change anything?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's huge, especially in regards to when we game plan with certain guys. So, getting Parker back, then getting Jackson back, Javen coming back. We had games where we had really like third string players having to start and play in roles where they weren't consistently needing to play full games. And they were doing a pretty good job. They were keeping, in reality, we were winning games with a whole lot of backups playing, especially defensively. So, getting those guys back, one, it's a boost to the defense morale wise, because they know they got some of our guys back that were those, those top guys. But then also, we've got guys that play both ways. So if they need a break and you have somebody in there that can spell them, that's nice. So, it was great for me last week on, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, we were doing some defensive drills, and the linebacking core came running over. And I told Coach Diller, I said, how'd you get so many people? And he goes, well, finally I got some people healthy, because both Parker and Jackson and a bunch of other guys were healthy finally. And that's one of those things where when you've got a bunch of injuries, you're looking at who you've got available, and you're having to pick and choose what you can do game planning wise. When you get a lot of your guys that you originally planned on being there back, it opens up a lot of the things you can do. So it was definitely a boost to our team for sure.
Yeah, I thought you could just see the guys were a little more upbeat and stuff. Maybe it was just me, but it just seemed, plus it was parents, they're, senior night and all that too. But they just seemed the last couple games to be more excited, and they're really getting into it, it seems like.
Yep, for sure.
So coming from a game where we played well offensively, we played really well defensively, the only thing that we really, saw that was anything of concern, and I use the air quotes, is the penalties, but you can't control those either sometimes, you would be willing to say, yeah, we committed some penalties, but I don't necessarily agree with them all. So what do you work on, anything in specific or everything in general?
I think a lot of it's we focus on us. We offensively, I think that was the highest third down conversion rate we've had in a very long time last week. So we did, any game where you don't punt is probably a pretty game.
Yeah.
So there's a lot offensively to be happy about, but we are very picky about things. So there was some stuff we saw on film that, we got away with it, or maybe that was a first down play and it didn't work how we would like it to, but it's something we definitely want to do better at. So that was big, parts of emphasis. And then also with it, it's being more consistent with some things. And, we had success with that, but we can do it better. So we want to improve upon that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, Allen East poses some new challenges based on what they do. So a lot of it for us is just focusing on ourselves, making sure we've cleaned up any of the areas we need to. And then also, game planning wise, looking what Allen East does and kind of making sure we don't, have something not secure when they come in. So
83% on your third down efficiency. So 5 of 6, pretty darn good.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
All right. So there wasn't a lot of deficiencies there. You're going into the final stretch before playoffs start.
Mm-hmm.
I've asked you this before, but have you guys approached anything playoff wise yet, or are we still too far out?
Other than as coaches, we kind of take a look at teams that are on the bubble, teams that are kind of locked in, stuff like that. We don't go to, because right now, if this playoff started today, I think we're a 6 seed right now.
Right. Yep.
That's going to change Saturday. And
Right,
it's just
right.
because there's so many games being played around the state and stuff like that. So, I kind of always take a look and see, and, with how film trading is done for the playoffs is a little interesting. You get 3 games of your opponent. But you look and I'm like, okay, did we have common opponents to where maybe we already have some game film on a team or something there? But we don't really go too deep into it yet, just because we've got 2 really, really good teams to play the last 2 games. So, and we're still, something happens in Lima on Friday night, we're playing for conference championships still potentially.
Right.
So, we've got to focus one game at a time and not look too far down the road.
LCC got both us and Grove at home. Oh,
I believe so.
they got a helpful schedule, I think.
They just won't go away.
No, they won't. Well, they're a darn good team. I do give them that much.
They really are.
All right, Coach. You talked about last week the key that was the key of keys, I guess. What's your key of keys this week of the 3 that we normally and always end up covering?
I think once again it comes down to the guys up front. It's line. Offensive line did a good job last week. Defensive line put a lot of pressure last week. So if we can keep doing that and keep getting better with that, especially because we've got young guys that have been playing and now are starting to mature. We got guys, Sawyer Bowling, as a sophomore, he started every game. Now he's not really a sophomore. So we don't treat him like that. Brody Schneck came in as that right guard, and we don't treat him like a freshman anymore. So those, and then, D-line wise, we got a bunch of guys, that rotate and stuff like that. Braxton Smallwood the past couple of weeks has started on the defensive line, and that he's doing a great job. So, with that, we got young guys that are starting to develop up front, which is helping our back end guys as in regards to linebackers and our skill guys on offense. If they can continue to do what they've been doing and keep getting a little bit better each week, I think that's huge.
Well, I don't disagree that it's huge that would be I would almost wager money on it, Coach, that it might be next week too. Like that the line of scrimmage is that important in many of our games, especially in our conference. So thanks so much for coming and giving us your time. Let's get to 8-1, and hopefully some magic can happen in Lima.
Yeah,
sounds good.
No doubt. Yeah, thanks for giving us your time, Jeff. We sure appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Be right back. JW and I will wrap things up here on the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm agent Jason Cox can help you bundle your home and auto insurance today and save money with a State Farm personal price plan. Jason Cox State Farm. Go to jasonismyguy.com for more information.
Pirates look good on the gridiron, and Eikenberry Landscape keeps Bluffton looking good off the field. Design, install, maintain. With a great team and great clients, we get the job done. Call 419-205-0759 for more information or a quote. Eikenberry Landscape Company, proudly serving Pirate Country for all your landscaping needs.
Blanchard Valley Health System isn't just a hospital. We are an integrated health system providing comprehensive care in Northwest Ohio. For more information, please visit bvhealthsystem.org. Blanchard Valley Health System. We're here for you.
Hey neighbor, how are you? I wanted to tell you about a place where the wifers and I love to go. Hothead Burritos in Wapakoneta, and now Lima brings you amazing food and fast. You can try any of their sauces on a burrito or a bowl. So grab some Hothead Burritos and enjoy the game. Later, Gator. I'll see you in church. Go Pirates!
Welcome back to the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show, live here on Facebook, YouTube, and X. JW, we are
Yes.
in the throes of just a couple more sleeps, and then we're playing some more football.
Isn't that crazy?
What are your feelings about coming up? Is it more of the just stay the course? Is there something else that kind of sticks out to you that needs to take place this week?
No, I don't think we're going to do anything different against Allen East. I mean, we just keep doing what we've been doing, and we should turn out fine. I mean, we're right here we're in the meat now to where we're really combining well and just doing what we need to do.
Well, 2 short weeks left of the season, which just blows my mind, to tell
That's
you
crazy.
the truth.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We still need to work on, and it wasn't near as bad. And I think with the additions of the injured guys on defense coming back, it's going to get better. The edge rushing, the on defense, we still allow some, but it got better. The other,
yeah, I think too.
Ray Hoying was
better, and
Ray Hoying is a good big back. He's effective. And but we strung him out to the edges a lot more.
Right.
Now he did have some runs where they were productive on the edges, but for the most part, we did do a pretty decent job of stringing them out and allowing the rest of our defense to get there. But I still think that would be the one thing that I really think that we have to keep improving on. And I'm not saying that we haven't, or that we won't. I just think that is definitely one that you've got to sit there and think we really have to concentrate on this. We've got to make sure we get this worked on.
And that's something you and I have talked about all season.
Yeah.
Where we need to button up a little bit on the outside edges, with the short little dump passes and the little screens and stuff. I think we're getting better. And like you said, we've got some guys coming back that have, basically only played a game or two all year.
Right.
That were starters originally. And
right.
I agree with the time that these younger guys have had to, take care of things while the other guys were healing. You've got some really talented backups too now. You got some good depth.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's I really, appreciated Coach even addressing that is now if they need a break, it's not a sign of weakness to come out and take a couple of plays and get a break.
Absolutely.
Plus, it's even better now because your backup has had a few games of experience to not be coming into it cold and kind of going, what am I doing?
Yeah, so you feel more comfortable taking a break if you need one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You don't feel inclined that you have to be an Iron Man. You can take a couple of plays to get a quick breath, get a quick drink, and get back in there. That's definitely something that is okay. I pulled up the we talked about it. I just brushed upon it with Coach, but I pulled up the playoff rankings, the seedings.
Yeah.
And right now, like Coach is right, we are 6th seed right now. We are less than 0.2 of a point behind Paulding.
Right.
Paulding sits at 8-0 in 5th, but they're in 5th ahead of us by less than 0.2 of a point. And then 4th is Fairview, and they are just over half a point ahead of us. So
it's
Coach
tight.
is absolutely right. 1 through 4. Now you jump up to Hopewell, Loudon, Margaretta, and Archbold. They're a little bit further distance wise, but you never know what's going to happen there.
Right. Yeah.
And we control our own destiny when it comes to the playoffs. I imagine that win this coming Friday, and we'll be all but locked. I mean, maybe we may even clinch. But really staying in the top 8 because 5 through 8 do host the first round games. The top 4 seeds get the bye. And then 5, 6, 7, and 8 will be the hosts of the second week, or that first week of games. And then the winners of those games will then move on to the top 4 seeds. So it'd be great to be in the top 4, but let's at least get one
absolutely.
home game.
Yeah, I think it's very possible we can be in the top 4.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I really do.
That's the kind of team we have this year. So
Yeah. Well, it's definitely exciting because we've got like I said, just a couple weeks left in the season, which is horrendously crazy to think about. That it feels like we just started.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast it went.
Feels like we've just started, but we've got still 2 more weeks of the regular season. Hopefully, I'm not going to go as far as to say as I'm rooting for them, but hopefully some magic happens in Lima where maybe we're going into the final week of the season, trying to get a piece of the conference championship.
Yeah, so we may have more like 7 games than just 2.
No, 8. If we've got 2, we have to play 6 in the
Yeah, well, there you go. So
right,
we'll take
maybe
that.
Maybe it's only 5 now. No, it'd be still 6 unless we get a bye in that first round.
Right.
Then you only
either way sounds good.
Yeah. 7 to 8 more football games. That's what we need. I want to be eating Thanksgiving dinner, getting ready for a football game the next day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay.
Me too.
So, all right. Well, that wraps us up here for today. This week's Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show, live here on Facebook, YouTube, and X. JW, a couple more sleeps and we get ready for football. So Friday at 6:05, live from Allen East High School, 6:05. JW and I will have all the pregame or pre-kick festivities with the Grove Systems of Bluffton kickoff show, then followed by X's and O's with Coach Richards, brought to you by Jason Cox State Farm, and we'll wrap up all the festivities pregame wise with the Kira's Flipside Grill pregame show. That leads us all the way up to kickoff, and we will have the play-by-play for you, lmgradio.us, as well as simulcasts right here on Facebook. So if you're watching on YouTube, nope, you got to go to Facebook for the simulcast. If you're watching on X, you got to go to Facebook to get the simulcast, or just go to lmgradio.us. And we will be broadcasting from 6:05 all the way to the final. They don't use the gun anymore, so you can't say the final gun. They used to actually do that. You could hear.
Yeah.
That's the end of the game. But all the way to the final snap. How about that? Till zeros hit the clock on the 4th. We will have all of it there for you. But thanks so much for joining us this evening on the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show. We will see you on Friday.
Later on.